My name is Amanda Sell, and I had the honor of directing all of the students that you will be seeing up here tonight. They have taken so much time to craft the perfect characters that you will be seeing in just a moment. And I know you're excited to get started, so let's do just a couple housekeeping issues. Bathrooms are right out this door. Concessions, you probably already saw and smelled them, are out that way, those doors, and to your right. Please make sure to silence your cell phones. They can be a wee bit distracting when they go off in the middle of somebody's line. And also, when we get to the end of the show tonight, and if you feel like maybe that wasn't really the way you thought it should have ended, you need to come back tonight at 7 p.m. because we will have a completely different ending for the show. Oh. So with that, thank you for coming, and we hope you enjoy the show.
Hello there! Thank you for coming tonight. It's good to see you. Oh my, did you not get a guide to tonight's proceedings? Not to worry, I have an extra set. Hold on to that, but remember not to open any of the documents until instructed to do so. I'm so glad you could be here. Wow, it looks like we have quite the full house tonight. Thank you all for coming to tonight's presentation. I am your host, Miss Penelope Chrysler-Michelin. You may have heard of me, lone heir to the Michelin family fortune. Or perhaps you've never heard of me at all. It doesn't matter anyway. In fact, I prefer to live a life of mystery. Speaking of which, that is why you are all here tonight, is it not? So welcome to our little seminar. Tonight, I shall be guiding you through my 15-step process for hosting your own murder mystery dinner party. And I'll not only be teaching you these time-tested strategies, we'll be showing you them in action as my guest and I will be hosting a live murder mystery dinner party to help guide you through the process. Now, do we have any first-timers? Anyone who's never hosted a murder mystery dinner party before? Show of hands. Oh, good! Lots of you! That means that there is much to learn tonight, and that is most excellent. Now, it is my sincere hope to teach you the subtle art of mystery and intrigue. When you leave here today, you'll have everything you need to know to make your next murder mystery dinner party the very best. Now, you all have been given guidebooks. Please hold on to them, but remember not to open any of the documents. But you have been given paper and writing utensils, so please take notes. All right, enough with the formalities. Shall we begin? Step 1, setting the scene. You can jot that down. Step 1, setting the scene. And you can now open your first document, document 1. Yes, in it you'll find... Oh, well, isn't that perfect timing and just what I wanted to hear? You see, when planning your murder mystery dinner party, you need to be sure to plan for the weather. An important part of step 1 is establishing mood. So be sure to plan for a dark and stormy night. Now, here are some of my assistants who will be helping us tonight. Some of my house staff. Come now, grab the other end, pull. Now to the table with it. I've got 4 inches on my end. How's it look on your end?
About 6 inches.
Then just a little tug should do. How about now?
Looks like 5 inches.
I've got 5 inches on my end, so that's perfect. Now remember, Miss Penelope requires perfection, so make sure those corners are tucked inward towards the end of the table.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
careful attention to detail is of the utmost importance. Jot that down. Attention to detail.
Off with you now. Go get the centerpiece. It's out in the conservatory. Mr. Lattice was shining it earlier.
Yes, ma'am.
This is my housekeeper, Miss Gwyneth. She's been with the family for generations and is my most trusted companion. Which brings me to another show of hands. Who here has their own housekeeper? Seriously, how about a butler then? No? A full-time groundskeeper, perhaps? Well, you needn't have your own house staff to host a murder mystery dinner party, though it certainly helps. Without a staff, you'll just have to set the scene all by yourself. What's most important to note here is that your mansion must be spit spot for all your guests. Jot that down. Mansion, spit spot. Anyway, Miss Gwyneth worked for my father, and her mother worked for his father.
And I practically raised you, my dear.
Oh, and bless your heart, I was quite a handful in my younger days, wasn't I?
That's putting it lightly.
In fact, it was Miss Gwyneth who first noticed my love for murder mystery novels and encouraged me to follow my dreams.
It's like I've always said, my dear, if you can't do what you love, then it isn't worth doing.
And so here we are, hosting our very first murder mystery dinner party seminar, and it's all thanks to you. Now, when setting the scene, any good murder mystery dinner party needs a compelling story. So, Miss Gwyneth, why don't you tell them a bit about the family estate? After all, I have a few preparations to make. You know, certain props need to be in certain places, and this knife needs to be in the upstairs hallway, if you recall.
Oh, right, of course. Like Miss Penelope said, I've been the housekeeper here for years. That there is Herbert Michelin, my former employer and Miss Penelope's father. If you're taking notes, it's always important to have a framed portrait of yourself or the family patriarch or matriarch. It should always be hung in a place where all your guests will see it because it will serve as a reminder of your family's wealth and history. Now, Mr. Herbert Michelin's father was a steel baron back in the day and was once one of the 20 most wealthy persons in the world. Times have changed, though, and the family wealth has diminished over the years, but they're still worth a hefty fortune compared to most. Why, this estate alone could go for at least 100 million, but there are many other fine things in this household. Take this china, for instance. It was a gift from the Crown Prince after Herbert's helped him negotiate a very important deal. To make sure our scene is set correctly, per Miss Penelope's careful instructions, we're using only the best china, the best linens, and, of course, the best.
Is this it?
Yes, this is a silver candelabra, worth a pretty penny itself, and the perfect centerpiece for our dinner party. This has been in the family for generations, pure silver, acquired from the Tabor family, the famous silver barons. To make sure our scene is set correctly, per Miss Penelope's careful instructions, it goes right here.
Is everything set, Miss Gwyneth?
Just about.
Good. Then you can go tend to the dinner preparations.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, no, not you. Remember, I need you for this next step.
Oh, right. Yes, ma'am.
Now, there's one final detail that must be in place when setting the scene and establishing mood. Can anyone guess what that may be?
What about music?
That's right! Music! For the purpose of tonight's presentation, I've asked Miss Harmony Klein to join us on the keys. Miss Harmony Klein, everyone! Once the scene is set, it's time to move on to step 2, selecting your guests. Now, for the purposes of tonight's presentation, I've already selected my guests, and we'll introduce them to you in a moment. But what you need to know now is that each of your guests must have a reason to be there and a reason to come. And if they don't have a reason, you must give them one. Perhaps even creating a character for them to play and a script if necessary. If you want your murder mystery dinner party to be a hit, this step is absolutely vital. So plan it out as much as you need beforehand. Now, I've asked our new maid, Miss Shirley, to introduce
My
the
name
guests.
is Sherry.
Excuse me?
It's Miss Sherry, ma'am, not Sally.
Right, that's what I said. Now, Miss Sarah will introduce the guests to you in a moment. She is new here. But I've also invited Miss Gabby Reynolds to go over the guest backstories, which are included in document 2, which you can now open. Miss Reynolds is an acquaintance of mine who has a bit of a reputation as the town gossip. She knows what's going on behind the scenes better than most anyone. If you know a gossip, they will come in handy when hosting your own murder mystery dinner party. Now, has Miss Reynolds arrived yet?
No, ma'am.
That'll be her now. Go ahead with the introduction, Sandy, and remember to take the guest cell phones. That's something I forgot to address in step 1. So this is step 1A. Except we're in step 2 now, so it's step 2A. No cell phones allowed. Everyone knows cell phones get in the way when planning a murder. That is when planning a murder mystery dinner party, of course. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some more preparations to make for our murder mystery dinner party.
You're just in time, Miss Reynolds.
Good. Have any of the other guests arrived?
No, ma'am, but they should be here any moment now.
Good. I am Miss Gabby Reynolds of the Grand County Reynolds. As the chair of the Chamber of Commerce and senior loan officer of the First Bank and Trust, I have insight and perhaps a bit of dirt to share about each of tonight's guests. So Miss Penelope has asked me to be here to help introduce them and give you some of the backstories. It will be very important for tonight's seminar, so I hope you're all taking copious notes. You'll need them. But also, if you have document 2 open, you can refer to that as, well, that should be guest number 1. Refer to your guides for this segment. Let in our next guest, if you will, please.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Charlotte Beauregard, the celebrity.
Charlotte Beauregard is a local homegrown celebrity and star of the off-Broadway stage and small screen. I do mostly independent films by important up-and-coming directors, that is. Yes, of course you do, darling. Bless your heart. Now, if you're taking notes, you might want to make note of that breach of etiquette. The guests aren't supposed to speak out like that. At least not in this part of the seminar. I'm just making sure you tell my story correctly. I haven't even told your story yet. Well, get on with it then. Hold your pose for this part like you're supposed to, and I will. We have several other guests to introduce, and you're not the most important one. Or is she? Fine. The Michelin family is long invested in the theater, and thus their paths have crossed often with Miss Charlotte Beauregard. But the most interesting thing you need to know is that she is an actress who's full of ambition. She once famously, and purposefully, contracted the flu so that she could spread it to a rival actor whom she was understudying just in time for opening night. Her career means everything to her, and anyone who gets in the way of that becomes her enemy. You might want to jot that down.
Miss Judy Wilhelm Esquire, the lawyer.
Judy Wilhelm Esquire is the most prominent lawyer in the region. Some consider her shady because of her constant commercials and
ever so convenient presence at the scene of every traffic accident that occurs in our small town.
Objection!
Overruled. She's the Michelin family lawyer. Then again, she's pretty much everyone's lawyer in this town, given that she's the only lawyer. Like me, she knows everyone in town. Refer to your notes on that one.
Miss Venus Starship, the free spirit.
Don't call me Miss. I don't do labels. And for that matter, don't call me Free Spirit either, for you're not defined by our labels and our auras lead us wherever they may go.
Venus Starship is an active advocate for a great many various mainstream and fringe issues, including vegetarianism, animal rights, extraterrestrial rights, ghost rights, vampire rights.
Don't forget the trans-dimensional human rights for all of us who are able to transcend this dimension and travel across all space and time.
Oh, yes, that as well. Among many other things that are not as obvious to the rest of us. She also teaches gold yoga classes on the weekends and hosts a regular Wednesday tea time with lost and wandering spirits who are unable to cross over the great beyond, or so she claims. She's a wild card and perhaps the strangest one of the bunch, so maybe jot that down if it seems useful. She seems downright kooky to me, but your mileage may vary.
Mr. Hannibal Lettuce, the groundskeeper.
But he's not a guest.
No, I'm not a guest. I was wondering if the lady of the house was available.
We're sort of in the middle of something here. Can it wait?
Well, the storm is picking up, and I'm worried about...
It will have to wait.
Hello. Am I early?
No, you're just on time.
Whatever it is, Mr. Lattice, it will have to wait.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Jackson Nightingale, the town physician.
Dr. Nightingale runs the most successful family medical clinic in town and is Miss Penelope's personal physician. He doesn't do house calls, but will do so for Miss Penelope. But only a few people know that Dr. Nightingale is a little free with the prescriptions, if the price is right.
That's not true. You only lose my practice saying such things.
I'm here for a reason, Doc, to spill the beans. And you're here for a reason too, so can it and hold your post until your turn to speak.
Yes, right.
Oh, hello, everyone. Just making a few final preparations for our dinner party. Act like you never saw me.
Mr. Hugh Glover,
Well, what do we have here? A new lady of the house.
No, sir. Merely a house servant.
Oh, but you're so much more than that.
Hey, you know the drill, pal. We have a presentation to run, so hand the lady your phone and take your pose.
We'll talk later.
Like Miss Penelope, Mr. Hugh Glover comes from money. He fancies himself an entrepreneur of sorts, dabbling in various upstarts. But having been blessed with remarkable handsomeness and charisma, he is mostly known as the town's most eligible bachelor. When he walks into a room, the ladies swoon, and he is more than happy to sweep them off their feet. That is why they call him the Lady Killer. If you're taking notes, you might want to jot that down.
Miss Serena
No, it's just me again. Is Miss Penelope around?
No, you just missed her. But you keep interrupting, and you know we have a seminar to present.
Yes, but the storm is coming down now, and I'm worried about...
So you'll go back to your duties, Mr. Hannibal.
Yes, but...
No buts.
We have work to do here, and you are interrupting when you have been instructed not to, no matter the reason.
Yes,
Miss
ma'am.
Penelope's work will not be disturbed tonight. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, if you're taking notes, my plan will make note of that as well. It's not in the program for tonight's presentation, but then again, you never know what will happen. And that pesky groundskeeper refuses to follow protocol and continues to defy his strict instructions. That should be Miss Serena Hemingway now, if you will.
Miss Serena Hemingway, the writer. Where do I? Over there. Thank you.
Interesting. Sorry. Oh no, you're fine, love. I just find it interesting that the writer would be the first guest to follow the rules.
Did I do something wrong?
No, not at all. That's my point.
If I did something wrong, I'm open to making changes. Do you have any feedback for me? Any constructive criticism?
No, that's... Oh, you're fine, dearie. You've done nothing wrong.
Okay. I thought I did something wrong.
You're fine. Don't get ahead of yourself with worry. You've done nothing wrong.
Okay, good.
Yet. But the night is still young. Anyway, back to our introductions. Miss Serena Hemingway is a local novelist who has risen to global fame with her true crime novels. Still, she's a sensitive sort. I suppose it may come with the job. That being said, she's also a writer of true crime novels, so make of that what you will. Now, I'm not one to be judged during executioner. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, she writes true crime novels, so maybe make a note of that, if you know what I'm saying. Pardon my absence, I'm sure you understand. Yes, of course, just doing my part as instructed.
So you introduced all the guests?
I have, except for...
No, that's for a later step.
Right.
Don't want to get ahead of yourselves or spoil anything. Speaking of that, have any of the seminar attendees opened their packets too early?
Not that I saw, ma'am, and I was watching very closely, per your instructions.
Good. We wouldn't want anyone to spoil the big surprise. After all, there's still so much to learn tonight. So, once all the guests are introduced, it's time to move on to step 3. After all, this is not just a murder mystery, it's also a dinner party. And what good is a dinner party without food, right? So, step 3, serve hors d'oeuvres. This is the part where everyone mixes and makes small talk while eating juicy and savory snacks. And maybe a few sweets too. You can now open your next document where you'll find recipes for hors d'oeuvres. Feel free to look over them as you nosh. But if you'll excuse me, I have some of my own preparations to make, but I hope you all enjoy your hors d'oeuvres. Give us a song, Sam! Ta-da! Now that everyone has had a nibble and the scene is set, you've got your audience hooked and your murder mystery dinner party is off and ready. So, it's time to move on to the next step. Step 4, choosing your mark. In other words, who will be your victim? Which
Or Sap will be the one who dies. Who could it be? Who should it be? Does anyone know yet? Let's do a show of hands. That could be fun. Who thinks it's the doctor? Raise your hand if you think it's the doctor. Oh, interesting. How about the writer? Oh. Or perhaps you wish the free spirit, Miss Venus Starship, dead. Perhaps there's someone you haven't met yet. Perhaps someone waiting behind that door. No, I'll get it. It could be. Oh.
I'm sorry. I must see Miss Penelope at 1. Oh, it's you.
What is it, Mr. Hannibal?
It's the storm, ma'am. I'm worried that if no one leaves now, no one will be able to leave tonight.
Leave? Why would any of us want to leave? Look at what fun we're having.
But the bridge...
Oh, don't you worry about the bridge. It's been there for generations. It was built by my father's father's father over 4 centuries ago, and it's never once been a worry.
Yes, but this... the bridge...
No. We have an audience here tonight, and they have come to learn the subtle art of hosting a murder mystery dinner party. And now, thanks to you, we are off script.
Miss Penelope, if I may...
No. I assure you, Mr. Hannibal, the bridge will be fine.
But this is very important. I'm worried that if no one leaves now, no one will be able to leave tonight.
Go about your duties, Mr. Hannibal. It will be fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So sorry for that interruption. He's just over-worried about the bridge. Now, where was I?
You were selecting your mark, ma'am.
Oh, yes. You could choose the lawyer as your mark. Oh. Or perhaps it could be the lady killer. It could be anyone, really. But that's my little secret, at least for the time being. So, once you've selected your mark, you've completed step 4, and it's time to move on to the next step. So, step 5. In step 5, we have 2 main goals: establish character and motive. You can now open your next document, document 4. You'll see that this is the part where we encourage small talk amongst our guests and get to know them better. This is the part where we encourage them to speak for themselves. This is the part where we get to know them. And I must warn you, this is one of the most difficult parts of hosting a murder mystery dinner party. But it is also one of the most important, because you'll be leaving little hints about who the murderer was and why they did it. Now, I must warn you, this part almost always seems boring and tedious. But that's just the trick. You must make it seem boring and tedious, all the while leaving little hints and clues and laying the groundwork for your story. So, let's get on with it, shall we? Give us something light. Miss Sally? Miss Sally? Miss Sally!
Do you mean me, ma'am?
Of course I mean you. That's what I meant.
Miss Sally?
Precisely.
But my name is Sherry, ma'am.
That's what I said. Now, Charla. What is one of the many ways we use to establish character?
Well, you'll see in your documents that one of the ways in which we establish character is to engage in small talk with your guests.
That's right, Susie. You'll see that this is one of the many ways laid out in your guidebooks we use to establish character. So?
Oh, right. Can I get you some coffee?
No, I can't. It just kills the voice.
And these vocal cords are my bread and butter, love.
Uh-oh.
Here she goes.
Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. Oh my! You see?
I thought you said that was your bread and butter.
Thus the importance of caring for the instrument. Better make it tea with lemon and honey if you would, love.
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'll get it. It would be my pleasure. That's better. Keep it up.
Yes, ma'am. Any more hors d'oeuvres for you?
Yeah, keep them coming. They help me seem inconspicuous, if you know what I mean.
Oh, right, like for eavesdropping on conversations.
Perhaps.
Is that how you know all of the town's secrets?
Perhaps.
You are the town gossip, aren't you?
So they say, but don't you know it's rude to spread such rumors about people? Load me up.
Yes, ma'am. So tell me, Dr. Nightingale, what do you do for malpractice insurance?
Oh, well, I don't like to talk much about work, especially at social engagements like this. But hey, how's your daughter? Off to Cambridge, I hear? Sorry, Mr. Reynolds spilled the beans.
Yes, she is, but I'm serious. Are you insured?
Well, of course I am, except for the job, unfortunately. But hey, I hear Cambridge
And are
is-
you pleased with your coverage?
I mean, it's adequate, I suppose.
Just adequate?
Yes.
I see. Well, if you ever find yourself in a bind, I'm quite familiar with medical malpractice law, if you know what I mean.
Well, I'm not really. And I mean, this is a dinner party after all, and I'm just here for the food and company. How dare you ask this private question in such a setting?
I hear you. Anyways, here's my card, in case you ever find yourself in a bind, if you know what I mean.
Right. Thanks. Who knows? I may need a little legal assistance before long.
You never know.
Right. You never know.
May I refill your drink, ma'am?
Oh, yes, but please remember.
Nothing but ice.
That's right, because
How fast to protest global warming. You mentioned it in your character notes.
It's actually a pro-ice protest. It's one of my many missions in life to make ice and the idea of ice more popular and welcoming with the masses. So, if they see me consuming more of it, perhaps they'll want more of it. Some more ice, I say, and I shall eat
Nothing but ice. You've told me a dozen times now.
Is this yours?
No.
Well, it was yours just a moment ago, wasn't it?
No, I own nothing. Ownership is a sign of colonialism and capitalism, and I reject both.
Feisty one here. She'll have a glass
She'll
full
have a
of...
glass full of ice.
And that's on me.
Miss Penelope is hosting this engagement, so the ice is on her. You all can have all the ice you want because she's on the ice. The ice is on the house, that is.
Oh, bless her. No, that's a woman I respect.
Indeed. But speaking of women worthy of respect,
Don't even try, pal.
I'm just saying, aren't you tired, honey? Because you've been running through my mind all day.
Save your breath, pal. It's not gonna happen.
Huh. That's a first. But you know what they say. If at first you don't succeed.
So, you're a writer, huh?
Well, you might say so. Mostly self-published so far. But I'm still working towards...
Were you aware that I am a star of the stage and screen?
I'm vaguely familiar with your work.
Vaguely?
Well, I know who you are. I just can't quite place you, if you know what I mean.
You must have seen me on the stage as Queen Cleopatra.
No, I'm sorry. I'm a novelist. I don't see many plays.
Oh, so you're a novelist?
Yes. Well, I have a few, though I haven't hit the big time yet, but I'm still working towards it. Mainly dabbling in mystery and suspense.
You write suspense novels?
Yes, I try to draw inspiration from other authors in the genre.
Of course!
You know, like Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, Stephen King, Mary Higgins Clark, and of course the great Agatha Christie.
Oh, then you must have seen my most recent film, The Devil's Advocate. That was an adaptation of one of Agatha Christie's long-lost works.
No, I'm sorry, but Agatha Christie is a master of the genre. I just love her work.
Well, this must be why you've never been published. You have no sense of subtext or irony.
What'd I say? Oh no, you were perfect. Don't mind her, she's always like that. Believe me, always fishing for compliments. If you aren't gushing on about her, she wants nothing to do with you.
And that's step 5. I hope you all are paying close attention because someone is going to be murdered tonight. And if you're taking good notes, You probably know who it is by now. So, it's time we be moving on to the next step. Step 6, setting your plan into motion. In this step, we continue to allow guests to converse amongst themselves.
I'll get it, ma'am.
No, I'll get it. It's probably that fool of a groundskeeper still worried about the bridge. If I told you once, I told you.
Hello?
And who are you?
Oh, yes, sorry. The name's Mark. Miss Beatrice Mark, that is.
Well, please, come in out of the rain, Miss Mark.
Thank you. Oh, I didn't mean to interrupt your engagement.
No, it's fine.
Yes, please join us.
What brings you here tonight, Miss Mark?
It's this storm. The rain was really coming down as I was traveling up to my sister's house in Lidditz. A flash of lightning hit a tree and crashed down on the road in front of me. I swerved to avoid hitting it and ended up stuck in a ditch by the roadside. There was no getting it out, and my phone was dead. So I set up walking along the road when I saw a pair of lights up ahead. I was wondering if I could use your phone.
Oh, yes, of course you can, dearie. I mean, if that's okay with the lady of the house.
If it isn't any trouble.
Of course. Miss Gwyneth, please show Miss Mark to the phone in the library.
Yes, ma'am. Right this way, Miss Mark.
That wasn't expected, but I'm sure we'll get Miss Mark taken care of as soon as we can. In the meantime, we must continue on with our presentation, as you were. So, we seem to have an unexpected guest. And well, that certainly makes things more interesting, but I'm sure we'll get her on her way shortly. We do need to be continuing on to our next step. Step 6, setting your plan into motion. Now that we've established character and planted ideas for motive, it's time to get the story moving. That is where step 6 comes in. In this step, would someone please get that?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, where was I? Yes, step 6.
The bridge is out.
What?
The bridge is out. Completely washed away with the storm.
How will we get home?
There's no way in or out tonight.
Well, I guess that means we'll all just have to get to know one another better, doesn't it?
Good news. Help is on the way.
Yes, I was able to phone my sister and she'll be coming to pick me up shortly.
Well, that's going to be a problem.
How so?
Ask him!
There's no way in or out tonight. No one is leaving this place.
Don't panic. I assure you, everything will be fine. We have plenty of beds for everyone since it looks like we'll be staying the night. In the meantime, why don't we move along to step 7, serve dinner. Who's hungry? Good. We'll get dinner served then. While we're getting dinner served, feel free to look over your notes and review what we have learned so far. Perhaps share your own ideas with those around you. And of course, discuss theories about who I've chosen to be the Mark and who you think will do the dirty deed. If you'll excuse me though, I have some unexpected preparations to make. So you all can go ahead, open your next document, and of course, enjoy your intermission. Maestro, give us some dinner music. I hope everyone is still enjoying our little dinner party, but we must be moving on to step 8. Always have a backup plan. Speaking of that, please forgive me for having to step away during dinner, but I have to be sure plans were in place since you'll all be staying the night.
Not to worry, Penelope.
Yeah, great grub.
I'd admit, I'm quite stuffed myself.
I'm very glad you found it satisfying. That was, of course, the entire purpose of you being here. But now that the bridge is out and we have an unexpected guest, we must make new arrangements. And I have to be sure you all are comfortable, since we have fallen into some unexpected circumstances.
Oh, don't mind me. I'll sleep on the floor if I have to.
Oh, bless your heart. But you needn't worry. My family estate has many beds and rooms.
Thank you, and I'm so sorry to intrude.
Oh, you needn't worry. It's perfect, actually, because you must always have a backup plan. Miss Gwyneth, is everything in place to proceed?
Yes, there are fresh linens on all of the beds, and everyone has a place to sleep tonight.
Good. Then we won't keep everyone waiting any longer then.
Yes, the suspense is killing me.
Don't get ahead of yourself, love. Get on with it. No need to be impatient. I'm not impatient, darling. But read the room. Your audience is waiting to see what happens next. They came here to learn how to host a murder mystery dinner party. So give them what they came for.
Good advice.
You're right. Very well. Let's get on with it then, shall we? So, step 9. The murder! Miss Sally, if you'll help me with this part as we planned, please.
Of course.
Now that all your plans are in place, it's time to pull the trigger. Well, that is to say...
Maybe I should be going.
No, stay put! Yes, just stay put, everyone. Miss Penelope always has a backup plan.
Oh, well, whose sweet voice is that I hear?
Don't be Chip, I didn't say anything.
Oh, well then it must have been your sweet voice I heard.
Maybe I should be going.
No, we have a nice warm bed prepared for you, and...
Miss Penelope, I don't know about you all, but I'd like to just get on with what was planned. Yes. Let's just get on with this already. We still have to do the murder bit, don't we, Penelope? Miss Penelope? Well, where did she go? Oh my! What happened to her? Is she?
No, this wasn't in the script.
No one move. I'll call a doctor.
I am a doctor, you fool! Everyone stand back. I'm afraid it's too late. She's...
Don't say it. She can't be.
Miss Penelope is dead.
It's always hard to set the mood.
Yeah, but you could show a little class. If you asked me, I thought it was a nice, dramatic touch.
Thank you. I'm just gonna be going. Oh, no, you don't. You're in this with the rest of us, like it or not.
Power's back on.
Well, thank you for that, Hannibal.
But Miss Penelope is dead.
No.
So, what do we do now?
We should cover her.
No, the body mustn't be touched, in case there needs to be an investigation. She's right. If this was a murder, the crime scene must not be disturbed. Murder? That's right, murder.
It's alright, sweetums.
We must do something.
But what? Is this a part of the seminar?
I don't think so. She's actually dead. This isn't pretend.
The doctor's right. This wasn't in the script she gave us.
I say we improvise.
No, we must continue.
I can't argue with that. After all, life goes on.
So what happens next?
Why, the only natural thing.
Yes, the natural thing.
That's right. I'm sorry, but I'm not following.
Surely someone must have done this.
So we do what must be done.
And that's exactly what Miss Penelope was wanted. For us to move on and finish what we started. So step 10.
Call the cops!
I'm sorry, but I have to ask, what is going on here?
Sorry, love.
Why did you all speak at once like that?
Not to worry, my dear. You see, we're hosting a seminar on how to host a murder mystery dinner party.
Yes, but you all spoke at once. Who were you speaking to?
To them, our audience.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, I get it. So this is all just for fun.
No way.
And she's not really dead.
Oh no, she is indeed dead. Quite dead. Extremely dead.
Ah, yes. I get you. Call the cops. But wait, we can't call the cops because...
The bridge is out!
Right. And this is all just part of the...
Well,
Who could that be? I thought you said no one could come or go.
being mostly right about that one. There is still one person out there.
Can I help you, sir?
May I come in? The rain is...
Yes, of course. Come in.
Wow, quite a full house I see.
Yes, sir. We're hosting a seminar on how to host a murder mystery dinner party.
Well, in that case, I'm very sorry to interrupt, but you see, the bridge is out.
So we've heard.
And that's the one person.
Inspector Enigma? This is Inspector Charles Enigma, everyone.
Oh yes, hello.
What are you doing here?
He's with the local law enforcement.
Behind the scenes, mostly.
But I thought you were supposed to be...
Right, well it seems the force had their hands full tonight with the storms and all. So I was called in tonight for backup. I was hoping to set up a roadblock when that bridge collapsed.
Just as I told them.
Right.
Just as I was warned. Not like anyone ever listens to the pesky old groundkeeper.
Oh, this is so good. Now what do we do?
I'm sorry?
It seems you've arrived just in time, Inspector Enigma. It's quite convenient. A little too convenient, perhaps.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? Ha! He's in on it too, isn't he?
In on what?
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
Yeah, I know bad acting when I see it.
I'm sorry, but I'm not following.
There's been a murder here, Inspector! Now don't play dumb. I see right through you.
A murder?
Don't go off script. What do you know?
This is not a game anymore.
Yeah, the inspector's right. He may not have a script. Or he does have a script and is on it too. All things considered, he might need a little help catching up.
Allow me. We've all come here today to participate in a live seminar on how to host a murder mystery dinner party.
Oh, this is so much fun.
Unfortunately, the weather has stranded us all here, including this Ms. Mark person.
That's me, Miss Mark.
And then the power went out.
And Mr. Hannibal rushed to the generator.
And power was restored.
And that's when we found our host, Miss Penelope.
Dead.
What was that?
That was the pianist.
She's here to set the mood. And she's doing a fine job of it. Give it up for the pianist, everyone!
So she's...
Dead. And yes, I pronounced her dead myself.
And has the body been moved at all?
No! Anyone who knows anything about murder mysteries is you don't touch the body.
Is that so?
I mean, it wasn't me, but it's common knowledge, right?
She's right where we found her, Inspector.
Did she have any previous health problems?
No, sir. She was fit as a fiddle. Isn't that right, Dr. Nightingale?
Yes, she was.
In that case, it must have been a murder!
Oh, this is so good.
Have a heart. This isn't a game. She was like a child to me.
I'm sorry. I couldn't have known.
And all of you were here at the time of the murder, were you not?
Yes, sir.
Then there's only one thing to do next. Suspect everyone!
And that's the next step.
I'm sorry?
That's step 11 in our seminar. Suspect everyone. And you wouldn't know that, Inspector, because you're in on it too.
Or maybe he's just doing his
job, and it was a coincidence.
You would say that.
It's exactly what your character would say.
No. I mean, surely he's not in on it too. Don't you see that? I thought out of all of us, you two would be the ones to see that.
Or maybe you're just seeing what you wish to see.
Now, let's not get out of hand here, people. I'm the inspector, so I will be the one to sort this out. Now, who was here when the lights went out? Then it stands to reason that each and every one of you is a potential suspect.
And what about you, Inspector?
I was not in this room. I was helping to set up a roadblock, so it could not have been me.
Just what an murderer might say.
Perhaps, but still it stands to reason that each and every one of you is a potential suspect for Miss Penelope Michelin's murder. Surely there is no disagreement with that. Silence. Since no one here has an alibi, then it only makes sense to go forward and establish a motive.
Sorry, Inspector, but we've already covered that step.
Oh, have you?
Yes, that was step 5.
But that was long before he came in.
Yes, that was out when he was repairing the bridge during step 5 and step 3 and step 1, remember?
We remember! Well then, we must re-establish motive. So, I guess, step 12, re-establish motive.
This is getting good. Are we sure he's not in on this too?
Who knows?
This isn't in the script I've got.
What if we all got different scripts?
Oh, please, folks, there is no script!
But there was a murder.
Precisely! So we must determine which one of you was the murderer.
Wasn't me, sir.
It wasn't me either.
Just what a murderer might say!
We already did that bit.
But I liked that bit. It was so dramatic.
Please, folks, let me do the inspecting.
Just what an inspector might say.
Oh, brother.
5. Yes. Now, as I understand it, no one was expecting this outcome tonight. So, all of you are potential suspects, and no matter the steps, we must establish a motive.
The inspector's right. If we figure out who done it, then it could stand to be any one of us. Any one of us.
Thank you. Now, all of you are here for one reason. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. All of our guests were here as a part of a seminar on how to host a murder mystery dinner party.
As was noted. So, I surmise that each and every one of you might have thought that you also could have been killed tonight. Is that true?
It was always a possibility, as was established in step 4, choosing your mark. Any one of us could have been the mark.
Interesting.
No. Unfortunately, that bit was not included in our scripts. We only knew that we might or might not be killed, and that we might or might not be the killer.
It was a very open concept. Quite unique, if I must say.
Except now, all of that has changed.
Interesting. So what you're telling me is everyone has a motive. Kill or be killed.
Well, everyone that is, except the service staff, Mr. Hannibal, Miss Gwyneth, and myself.
And you know this to be true, how? You're certain that none of you were this Mark?
Well, I assumed so at first, but now I'm not so sure.
So it could have been any of you, meaning you all are potential suspects, and you have a motive.
Not me, sir. I wasn't on the guest list. I came here for refuge and a phone.
I see, a wild card. And what was your name again?
Mark. Miss Beatrice Mark.
Beatrice Mark. The Mark!
Oh no, I mean that's not...
So that covers all of you. You all potentially could have been killed tonight, so it stands to reason that you might have killed first. But we must be moving along to our next step. Step 13. Consider every possible loophole.
What loophole?
I'm glad you asked. There seems to be one demographic that we have not considered here tonight.
What's that?
Them!
Oh, them?
Yes, them! They were here at the time of the murder, were they not?
Yes, sir, but they were only here for the seminar. They wouldn't have.
Consider every possible loophole. Now, you there, stay name for the record.
Miss Marple?
Miss Marple, I see. And what brings you here tonight, Miss Marple?
Here to see this lovely show.
To see a lovely show. I see. A likely story. And where were you when the murder occurred?
In my cozy chair.
In your cozy chair. I see. But still, it's only a few steps from here to there, and from there to here. It's plausible. Take a seat. You there! You there! Stand up! State your name for the record. Aggie. And what brings you here tonight, Miss Aggie? To see a show. I see. And where were you when the murder occurred? Right here in your seat. I see. Wait, she said that too. Doesn't matter. So that covers all of you. And now that I've had the chance to speak with each and every one of you, I know exactly what happened here tonight. Which leads us to our next step. Determine...
No, I'm sorry, Mr. Inspector, sir, but we have one more step.
We do?
I haven't slaved away in the kitchen all week for nothing. So step 14, serve dessert. After all, I'm sure all of this detective work has had you hankering for a bit of sweets. Miss Penelope would have wanted it this way.
Yes, of course. Step 14, serve dessert.
You may now open your final packet. In it, you'll find some great dessert recipes. I even wrote one myself.
Once dessert is over, all will be revealed.
We hope you've all enjoyed your dessert, but now it's time to be moving on to step 15, determine who done it.
And as I noted, I have everything I need to know and exactly who did it tonight. So, let's get on with it, shall we? It was Miss Charlotte Beauregard, the celebrity.
I knew it was her all along. Please, darling. You know nothing about me.
I know you've done worse.
Oh?
And I've been on to you for months, Miss Beauregard.
Little me?
Yes, you. You who poisoned the entire cast of Little Shots of Hors because you were cast as the Skid Row chorus instead of as Audrey. You who murdered Alexander Hamilton in the regional production of Hamilton. You who in Sweeney Tide made pies out of your fellow.
Okay, fine. You've got me. I knew it was her. Anything for the part, right? And that is how you host your own murder mystery dinner party.
hope you've all enjoyed your dessert. But now it's time to be moving on to step 15. Determine who done it. And as I have previously alluded to, I have everything I need to know and exactly who done it. So, let's get on with it, shall we? It was Mr. Hugh Glover, the lady killer.
I mean, it's right there in his name. The Lady Killer. You had to see that one coming.
You don't know anything.
We know you had a rival business interest. Perhaps you killed Miss Penelope for the money.
That's what you think?
You didn't do it, did you? You did.
Would you think less of me if I did?
No, well, maybe a little.
But what does your heart say?
My heart says, no, it doesn't matter at all.
Then in that case, it was me. I killed Miss Penelope because she was the love of my life, my one and only, and the one and only woman to refuse me. For years, I tried to win her affections, but she always refused. I had to kill her to get her out of my thoughts, out of my heart, out of my mind. So, what does your heart say now, sweet angel?
My heart says, ew, gross! Take him in, Inspector. This man's a murderer. And that is how you host your own murder mystery dinner party.
Moving on to step 15. Determine who done it. And as I noted, I have everything I need to know and exactly who done it tonight. So, let's get on with it, shall we? It was Miss Serena Hemingway, the writer.
How did you know?
Isn't it obvious?
I was hoping it wouldn't be. She sent me the script and asked me to be part of the seminar. It seemed brilliant at first, but once I got here and saw it playing out, I had to put a stop to it.
But why?
Because it was just so bad. This is a terrible play. Poorly written, full of cliches, and obvious red herrings. She had program guides with nothing but recipes. She had these poor people taking notes the entire time when it never really mattered. This is just the most terribly written, ill-conceiving. That's enough! If you have a problem with my writing, you can say it to my face. It was awful. The worst! Why, I ought to... Come at me! I'll kill you again! And that is how you host your own murder mystery dinner party.
This is our last show for the year. And because of that, and because I have the microphone and no one can stop me, I would like to dedicate this show on behalf of the entire theater department, all the production team, the other actors, to a very special girl who has been a part of the theater program since the beginning of time. You've seen her in so many performances over the years. She is a staple of everything that we have put together here. She is a leader. She is a friend. She is one of the kindest and funniest people that we have ever had the pleasure of working with, and she is one of the most talented actresses to ever darken the doors of Learning Station. So we would like to dedicate this performance tonight to Miss Abigail Zook. And now, enjoy the show.